make it long-term commercially viable?
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling and it has to be encouraged by our families,
Yeah.
to me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her, little girls with their parents, and the fervor and the energy there.
Why
Same
her?
thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons, and sometimes they may not be based in all truth.
Oh, there it was. There it was. We were waiting to hear it. There it was. Monica McNutt, thank you very much. You basically have just confirmed what we've been saying for weeks, for months, for years. It's a Monday edition of On Cue. ESPN, you basically just broke the news. You just confirmed exactly why Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. Happy Monday, everyone. Rich Quinones here on Cue, powered by our good friends over at Fresh Roasted Coffee, Three Brooks Bourbon. Play it again in sports. Get in early, get in often. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get at it on a Monday. Be respectful. You got to be kidding me. It's bad enough that the WNBA All-Star Game was a cluster. But once again, we have another hater on the horizon, and I give you the rat ship that continues to pile on number 22, which basically confirms my belief, validates my belief that right now there is no more of a polarizing sports figure in our country than one Caitlin Clark and the face of the WNBA. Not even disputable, not even debatable. I don't even want to hear about it because every time we turn around and you listen to the rat ship, whether it's Monica McNutt or Chinny or Elle Duncan or Harry Douglas, I mean, they're not even objective anymore. All they do is piss on this kid. All they do is poo-poo on this kid who just goes about her business, breaks records. You saw the nastiness this weekend, right? You see one player in buckets basically acting a fool, and then you got other players, i.e. Caitlin Clark, that decides, let me do the community stuff. What a joke and a crock of a league and media and network ESPN is. Unbelievable. Thank you, though. Thank you. Thank you for confirming it, because now there should be no more debate. There should be no more debate. You guys can argue until the cows come home. But there shouldn't be any more debate right now who is the most polarizing athlete in all of sports. It's not LeBron James, it's Caitlin Clark. Who is the face of the league? Caitlin Clark. Who is the face of the WNBA? Caitlin Clark. You have this girl, and there's a reason she never speaks to the media. There's a reason she never speaks to the media. Because of this crap. That's exactly what it is. Who finally comes out and talks about the media. And she basically talks about how it's exhausting. So she finally speaks out on the WNBA media, the lies, the drama, the false characterization, dangling her like a little carrot, throwing her in the social realm, the status, the quo, politics, Congress, black, white, straight, gay, just using her all over the place like a little puppet, like a friggin' pawn. So she finally comes out and she speaks, and then you have this clown, jackass, Monica McNutt, say what she says, but oh, by the way, she actually almost doubles up, backs it up with something even more asinine, which I'm going to get into in a moment, talking about accountability. Talking about how you would much rather see this 24-year-old speak up more and hold herself accountable for what? Accountable for what? Like, what are we really doing? You have been such a friggin' hater since this kid has come into the league, and you are turning now into ESPN, who just got rid of race baiters, who just fired Ryan Clark. Now you got McNutt, who sounds nuts. She's basically the female version of Ryan Clark. The same person who, by the way, never had a cup of coffee in the WNBA, said Angel Reese should have been the Rookie of the Year in 2024. But the network will still employ these clowns who continue to lose viewership and embarrass themselves. But they confirmed it. They confirmed it. Now we can go about our business. All is well. The rat ship confirmed it. Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. Go argue with your mama on a Monday night. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. You should not even be allowed to speak on the subject anymore of Caitlin Clark. If you can't put hatred, if you can't put bias aside when you're talking about someone, when you're covering sports, when you're reporting on sports, when you're dissecting an athlete or analyzing a game, a series, a play, a season, if you can't set aside hatred and bias, then guess what? You don't deserve to speak on a microphone. Period. 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 You don't. You don't. She's a clown. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. What I won awards too. I won national awards too. I don't care about it. I'm not going to give you my resume. I don't care about this. There's no respect on someone's name who shows no one respect. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. They already got rid of one race baiter. She should be the next to go. That network continuously pisses on this girl. It's utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. She's got to be held accountable. Like you're blaming her. You're flipping the script. But it doesn't matter because now the mothership, the rat ship, it's justified. Face of the league, here we go. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Face of the league, let's roll. Here we go, because it's all about the sisterhood. You know, you have a player that finally comes out and says it's emotionally exhausting. When I walk out of the locker room, I shouldn't be fearful what the conversation is going to be. It's draining. She's 24. Okay. Then you have McGoofy, who turns around and says, she's a shining star in the galaxy of the WNBA. All right, you know, maybe a little charity, okay. But I do think as she continues to matriculate through this league, there's room for a little bit more accountability and self-awareness. Are you friggin' kidding me? In terms of her role in the larger sisterhood, if she sees it that way in the WNBA. This is why I've said months ago, this is why there's no sisterhood in this friggin' velvet rope league. There isn't. And this weekend was evidence. Forget about how piss poor the product was. Forget about how bad the All-Star game was. Period. Period. Forget about how bad the game was where you had one or two players that are trying to play. But there's no sisterhood. This is not a fraternity. This is not a brotherhood. This is not the NFL where you're looking after your own. It's not. It's not. And they've made it. The media has made it that way. The league, the players, the commissioner has made it that way. ESPN has made it that way. They've tried to just formulate and divide, conquer and divide, man. If you're not on this side of the rope, you're not getting in. Forget about it. You can slip me a 20. It's not happening. But then for McNutt to say what she says, demands Caitlin Clark take more accountability. What do you want? What more do you want this kid to do? If you guys are so obsessed with her, that should tell you she's the face of the friggin' league. That should tell you she is the league. Does it not marinate? Does it not? Do we not get it? Do we not get it? Dodging accountability? The disconnect between the W media, the WNBA media, the players on the floor, and what goes on outside. I mean, she finally sits down. Everyone wanted her to speak. She finally sits down with the friggin' rat ship to talk about the emotional toll. And I can't imagine what it's like. The off-the-court nonsense, it's exhausting. I get it. Part of me is like, get the hell out of this league. I've said it before on the show. Leave, go, vaya con Dios. May God be with you. Go somewhere else and play. And then the story, you get this kid to open up, show a little bit of vulnerability because she never speaks, but everyone wants her to speak. They have to have her speak. What is she hiding? What is she afraid of? She finally sits down, raw, rare. Here we go. Peel back the curtain a little bit. Show me you're human. Show me emotion. And then you get this jackass of an analyst basically pushing back the comments, suggesting that her reaction lacks perspective given her massive platform. Get her off TV. Get her off TV. And if you don't understand what she said, and if you don't believe it, listen to this and you tell me what you think. Listen to this absolute garbage because that's exactly what it is. It's garbage. And this is why the media has become so toxic. And this is why I beg you guys, tune them out, except me. Tune them out. Turn them off. Turn them off. Don't subscribe into this narrative, this perception, these optics, this crap that they're spewing. So you tell me if I'm off base here, because accountable for what? Basically has taken this league from here and has basically pushed it up to here. But we still have a problem. We're still never satisfied. So here is McGoofy.
Honest reflection, but in totality, Monica, we don't often get to hear Caitlin Clark's perspective in quite this level of honesty. And this is an important conversation to continue to have with empathy for everybody involved. So listening to that, what was your reaction?
I thought the choice, the word of being fearful of the conversation after a game that she alluded to was interesting because oftentimes it seems, at least in the larger discourse, and not that there's not an emotional experience for Caitlin Clark, because I believe that it is, but it's the folks that are accused of doing something outside of the parameters of competition that are actually the ones that are fearful when you look at their social medias. This is what I will say. Caitlin Clark is 24. She is a shining star in the galaxy of the WNBA. But I do think as she continues to matriculate through this league, there's room for a little bit more accountability and self-awareness in terms of her role in the larger sisterhood, if she sees it that way, in the WNBA. But Malika, I agree with her 100%. It is certainly exhausting for all of us who really want to celebrate where this league is and the beautiful basketball that is being played. This larger discourse that can be very disappointing.
Yeah, and I think that we all have a responsibility in seeing where we fit in that discourse, and what we are working to do on this show is focus in right there on the game.
I can't take it. That's a crock of shit. That's a crock of shit. I'm sorry. That's a crock of shit. That is a used snake oil salesman pitch. You have a responsibility, but yet you're the same friggin' talking heads that constantly piss on this girl. Why? Because she doesn't fit the criteria? Seriously. You said it, white girl from Middle America. Why? Because she's straight, she's white, she's talented? What's the friggin' problem? What is it? You talk about a sisterhood, we talk about the NFL, a brotherhood where players really genuinely look after each other. This league does the complete opposite. It's the antithesis of a sisterhood, a brotherhood. They hate each other. This league hates each other. And you saw it again. It was on full display over the weekend. And what bothers me the most is that I actually love watching these games. Shame on me. I'm the fool. I'm the jackass. I'm the clown. What the hell am I doing on a Monday night edition of On Cue on the channel with you guys? I already did a show for 2 hours today. Had to come back on because I can't take it anymore. It's utterly ridiculous. We now have confirmation she's the face of the league. And the sad reality is this, folks. The sad reality is this. This girl will never achieve the greatest of heights in this league because it is not meant to be. It is not meant to be. They, the media, the networks, the players, the commissioner, the coaches, the narrative, they will find a way to just continue to poke, pod, and just keep pressing and pressing and pressing. And it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate. Marcus, what's going on, brother? It is beyond unfortunate. Pete can't do it. I don't care. I got film reviews. You know I know movies. Borat, Jackass 2, Birth of a Nation. Put some respect on her name. Borat 2, by the way, or Jackass 2, underrated, Pete. I know you're a 70s guy, brother, and I know you love to troll. Total Strange Talks. They still have a job because the only people that don't like Angel and the media is CC fans. Where are we going with this? Total Strange? It's not about Angel right now. It's the face of the franchise, the face of the league, and why this media will not give her respect. That's all I'm saying. It's a very simple question that I will throw out to you guys. Maybe you can answer it. Maybe some of you think I'm way off base. Maybe you think I had way too much fresh roasted coffee. Maybe you think I should be taking a little nap with the puppy Kiki right now, not doing a show on a Monday night. But I had to. I owe it to you. Because sometimes you got to come out and you got to express what you feel. And like I said, I'm all for opinions. I'm all for opinions. But we're allowed to push back and challenge opinions. And when you sit there and you're Monica McNutt and you're some of these other talking heads on these networks, and think about it, the ones that I listed, let's just call it for what it is. We can go through the background and everything. Why are they hating on this girl so much? Why? What is the problem? What more do you want her to do as far as accountability? It is a dangerous, dangerous game we are playing. It is a dangerous game we are playing. We are allowing the media, especially ESPN, that had to fire clowns that always push the race card in the narrative, i.e. Ryan Clark, crying like a little friggin' child. You know, man the frig up on a Monday, will you, Ryan Clark? Man up. And McNutt, McGoofy should be the next to go. Because every time you spew hate or subconsciously spew it and you walk that fine line of black, white, and then you go totally in one direction just because you think you can get away from it, guess what? I'm going to be the one to call you out. I'm going to be the one to call you out because it's horseshit. It's a crock of shit. And you reconfirmed everything we've been saying, and even the haters. Even the haters. It's the scrutiny, the media scrutiny is ridiculous. And like I said, I know you can argue that superstar status comes with leak responsibilities, but my God, like, what do you want her to do? Like, draw blood? Give you her firstborn? What? What do you want? Because again, I don't see this when you guys are pushing or the narrative, the talking heads are talking about a Wilson or a Reese or a Buckets or a Stewart. I don't. So in one breath, you can piss on this kid and justify she is the face of the friggin' league. But in the second breath, okay, when you mention other players and you deem them just as good, if not more popular, they have no responsibility either? Nah. Nope, not having it. I'm not having it. I'm not going to allow that crap. Nope, not happening. They need to get called out and exposed. Exposed. Because now you actually said what we probably knew you were already thinking. Seriously. Seriously. It's utterly ridiculous. I'm not even thinking, look, it's not even out. You know, people, at the end of the day, they will sit there and they will be their own undoing. Okay? The players don't have a problem with each other. The fans, oh, come on, man. Are you kidding me? The players can't stand Caitlin Clark. Don't tell me anything different. They can't. They can't stand this kid. They can't stand this girl. Every time there's a microphone, they talk about who's who in the league or this and that. They go out of their way not to drop her name. Stop it. If you polled 1,000 players or 500 players in the league right now, Total Strange, and I appreciate you always chiming in, but if you polled 500 players or how many there are in the WNBA and you gave them friggin' truth serum and backed them in a corner, I bet you 95% of the league would say they can't stand Caitlin Clark. And oh, by the way, someone should check their asses because without Caitlin Clark, guess what? No CBA, no broadcast rights, no broadcast deal, no ratings, no revenue, no merchandise, and oh, by the way, your salaries don't go up 400%. So basically, let's bite the hand that feeds you. But ESPN, thank you. I'm going to call you ESPN tonight. I'm not going to call you the Rat Ship. Thank you. You basically confirm breaking news on the show. You confirm what we've been saying. You confirm what I've been arguing. You confirm what I've been saying and believing and arguing. 22 is it. She's her. She's the face of the league. Nothing you can do about it. You can try your damnedest to sabotage. You can try your damnedest to poo-poo on her. She's the face of the WNBA. It ain't Wilson. It ain't Reese. It ain't Cunningham. It ain't Buckets. It ain't Blum. It ain't Stewart. It's Caitlin Clark. You confirmed it again because you don't talk about the other players like you do with her. Accountability, my ass. Hold her accountable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go away. Go away. Stop. JS. Agree, Rich. Words don't mean squat. If you treat others like crap, especially in her position, McNutt and her co-host need to be fired next. Listen, they're on borrowed time. They are on borrowed time. Period. I'm all for an opinion. I am. But you have to be fair. There's got to be some sense of logic, rationale. What, again, my question, I threw it out to you guys. What more can she do? Because if her goal, the end goal is to try to please everyone, it's not happening. You can't please anyone in life. You just got to worry about yourself. Do you? But if there's this warped sense of thinking within her circle, she's breaking records, she's going to be the greatest player to ever play in the league, she's going to win championships, MVPs, I got news for you. I hate to break it. It's not happening. This league will not allow it. And by some grace of God, miracle, she does achieve what I just mentioned, then you know what? She will be the greatest female basketball player of all time. And she did it in these conditions. She did it in this environment that just would not allow her to succeed. Think about her situation. Think about what's going on right now with the Fever, despite the fact that they won a couple games, right? Here and there. Think about the crap she's got to deal with the GM, the crap she's got to deal with jealous teammates, the crap she has to deal with Mitchell at time. I get it. They're playing better. The stuff she has to deal with the head coach that obviously wants to have her thumb on her, the commissioner that will never back her, a league that hates her, talking heads that speak to millions that basically want to play the race card and basically tell you the only reason she's getting some love is because she's a straight white girl from the Midwest. What are we doing? Is that how we think? We can't talk about the basketball merit, the body of work, the resume, the track record? They will never give this kid her respect. I've never seen this. In 25 years of doing this, in sports talk and covering sports, I've never seen a player who's so great, a generational talent, who's so hated. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. They're never going to respect Cece, so she needs to leave. Hey, I'm with you. I said it weeks ago. Play it out this year. Don't even worry about the epic contract. Just say, I'm done. But she's not going to do that. She just won't. She won't. She just won't. Mrs. B, what's going on? McNutty. Could lead by example. Once again, there's unsolicited advice for Clark as to what she needs to do. I'm telling you. McNutty, McNutcase, McKnucklehead. I just, it is really, it's interesting. And by the way, if you didn't, like I said, if you missed the comments, I'll replay them in a moment. But it is fascinating to me. It is. When we get so passionate about sports and our sports teams and our sports leagues, and when you follow a player, you respect a player, and you like a player, right? She never played in the WNBA. Now, she played basketball. She played in... I'm not telling her she can't have a basketball opinion, but don't tell me about the sisterhood of the league when you never actually step foot on a WNBA floor. Seriously. I've been doing sports talk for 25 years. I can talk about the brotherhood of sports media, my contemporaries. I can't sit there and tell you about, the inner workings of being a mechanic working at a car dealership. I can't. Never step foot in a garage. Well, I stepped foot in a garage, but never worked under the hood. Like, seriously. She can't speak on it. She can't because it's not a sisterhood. That is the problem. She is such a hater. The majority, Elle Duncan, all of them, they're all haters. Chinny Chinny Bang Bang, they're all haters. Harry Douglas, they're all haters. Accountability? Self-awareness? Do you look in the friggin' mirror and say to wake up and say, today I'm going to say something out of my ass? She finally does an interview with ESPN's Malika Andrews. She finally does an interview and she peels back the curtain. She shows herself. Do you understand that? She shows herself because she's protected, she's guarded, And there's reasons for that. And all she does is say, you know what? Yeah, the media constant false characterizations are emotionally exhausting. And this clown basically justifies what she says. And then you're talking about the massive popularity because she's a white girl from the Midwest. How about we talk about her freaking game? Can you imagine if a white reporter, a white talking head, turned around and sat there and said something about, I don't know, Wilson or Mitchell? Well, yeah, you know what? I think she inspires a lot of girls, you know, because think about it. She's a black girl from the inner city. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? You couldn't cancel them fast enough. If I said something like that, couldn't be canceled fast enough. And ESPN's going to allow it. The mothership, the rat ship, Disney, allow it. Folks, got to put an end to it. We have to put an end to it. The talking heads, they have to be exposed. They have to be exposed for who they really are. They're not fair. They're not objective. They're not biased. They only see black and they see white. And they are race baiters. And they're dangerous. They're not objective. They're not fair. They're not genuine. They're not sincere. They don't show empathy. They don't have compassion. Some of these talking heads, white, black, we know which ones are race baiters. White and black ones are race baiters. I can tell you that because there are some white talking heads out there and I'm like, what are you doing? It's utterly ridiculous. I'm telling you. Opinion is one thing. Don't get it twisted. But stop pushing this narrative perception, this crap, this agenda. That's what I'm trying to say. And ESPN confirmed it. This girl is talked about every single solitary day. So don't even try to debate me the merits of one Caitlin Clark and her standing in the league. Face it, CC is never going to be fully accepted or respected in the WNBA. Either she and the fans have to accept that or quit and do the shit somewhere else. What makes McNutt's opinion or analysis of the situation any less important than yours? I thought we were all entitled. There's a difference between entitled, but then there's also race baiting and being racist and prejudiced and not being objective and not being biased and not being fair. Come on now. You got to call it the way it is. Those comments, I'm sorry. Those comments are ridiculous. You can't in one breath say what you want to say after she comes out and finally says something. That's disingenuous. And then say because she's a white girl from middle America. Imagine, again, if a white talking head, if a Caucasian said that. Well, because she's a black kid from the inner city. Come on, man. I'm sorry. Like I posted this on my short. We're going down the rabbit hole tonight. If you got sensitive ears, you got sensitive ears. But we're doing it. It's got to be talked about. It's got to be broken down. It's got to be said. There's too much of this that goes on in our society and sports and the way we are consuming the product and the way we're reporting it. I've said this to you guys time and time again. If you can ball, man. I don't care where you're from. You got a little edge. You got a little scrappiness. You got a little juice to you. You got a little moxie. Let's go. Let's go. Let's appreciate the talent for the talent, not worry about this. But this is what ESPN is allowing, which again shows you she is indeed the face of this league because they keep cramming it down your throat, whether you like it or not. And look how they're cramming it down your throat now. So my problem with her comments is this kid, it's like a little squirrel, right? A little squirrel. Like you're trying to just get the attention of the squirrel. You don't want to scare the squirrel away. You know, little nut here and there, right? And the squirrel finally comes out. So Caitlin Clark, finally, everyone says this kid needs to talk. She's got to stand up for herself. She's got to say something, right? Did we not talk about that weeks ago after the Thomas incident? And then she finally came out and spoke a week later. And she spoke. She condemned hate in the league. She condemned the racist fans. She stuck up for the same league and players that are pissing on her. I mean, it shows you what kind of character this kid has. So she finally, which is just a little bit, come out, play a little bit. She does. And she gives you something that you didn't think she was going to give you. She gave you a little bit of her soul. She kind of dipped in a little bit. Peel back the curtain, right? Because a lot of times athletes, and I know this from experience, they are extremely guarded. They don't trust. They don't trust. Some of them don't even trust their inner circle. When you finally earn that trust, you got to hang on to it, man. You can't do anything to jeopardize that trust. You know, I have very good relationships and very close relationships with guys that played in the NBA and the NFL. And I'm very tight with a couple NFL players. And it took me a long time to develop trust and get them to trust me, to know that I'm coming at a certain place that's genuine, that I'm not going to try to hurt them with an interview or a comment or a dialogue or an exchange. Because once you lose it, it's gone. So she finally comes out. She says what she says. She literally says, this is draining and exhausting, the characterization. And then this jerk turns around and does exactly what this kid is fearful of. That I have a problem. That is lowbrow. That is low class. That is low class. And I don't know how some of you don't see it. It's not about an opinion. These are not takes. They've always been shaded to a certain color, right? And again, it's like she's looking at this kid, middle white girl, not understanding her talent. Stop. 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 And I'm telling you, it proves, it justifies my whole point. It justifies my whole point. It is just, you get to this point, and unfortunately, I feel as though we are way past it. Way past it. I mean, you're the same. Listen, this is the same person on TV. Didn't know Taylor Swift was a Knicks fan since Staten Mellow days. You know, Jalen Brunson had a call off the Swifties. She also was anti Caitlin Clark on Team USA. She also ripped Halliburton's All-Star selection over Brunson. I think she got a football jersey missed out. I mean, get her off TV. Stop. Don't even cut her a check anymore. And it's not about the opinion itself. It's how you frame it and the tone. I mean, it's like you have someone sitting there, right? And, you know, and I'm not making light of this, so please don't, you know, misconstrue what I'm saying. So, I don't know. We all know someone that might have an addiction. Let's say someone's a alcoholic, and you're sitting there waiting for them, and they're in their AA meeting, and they're telling their stories, right? And they're trying to make amends, and they're opening up. And then as soon as they walk out, some jackass turns around and says, "Hey, man, good job. Come on, let's grab a drink." It's just, what? Did you not hear me just pour my heart out? Do you understand what I'm fearful of? I can't drink. I'm in AA. Like, she literally is sitting there saying it's so draining by the media, the characterization, and then you have a talking head basically call her out, her character, and say she's got to be held more accountable. Folks, it's not right. But it just justifies what I've been saying. It proves my point. This league can't stand her, period. Period. The league hates her. Why in the world do you want to keep subjecting yourself to that? It's like insanity. You're doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Is that not insanity? And there's a difference between opinion and then pushing agenda, pushing bias. When I have an opinion, I have an opinion. I'm not trying to push a narrative down your throat. I'm not. We can agree to disagree. And like I said, you guys can come on a Monday night, troll me all you want. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. On cue, Rich Quinones here. Appreciate you guys on a Monday, 33 minutes in. But just don't troll each other. Be respectful. Intro, CC is the face of the league because she's brought thousands of fans, money to the league. She may not be the best player yet, but definitely most valuable. Be grateful. I wish we could. There's no sisterhood. There's none. There's none. It's a joke. It's a joke. Imagine, like, you want to be part of something, right? And no matter what you do, you're never going to be a part of it. You're never running with that crew. Ever. That's a problem. That is a problem. And I'm telling you, you can't. They want to push other players to phase her out. It's like we totally forgot this kid's 24. She's had a cup of coffee in this league. She's had a cup of coffee in this league. And they want to phase her out right away. They want to phase her out right away. And that's a bad look. And that's a dangerous look, man, because I can tell you this. If she picks up ball and goes somewhere else, this league is screwed. This league is screwed. Be careful what you wish for. Seriously. There's a reason ESPN started to fire some people. There's a reason they were making massive layoffs. They were trimming the fat. They were getting rid of the nonsense. Some didn't deserve to be fired. Others were on borrowed time. Others were constantly calling out their contemporaries, and they were playing the race card, i.e. Ryan Clark. McNutty, McClown, she's right there. She is right there. By the way, status report, tomorrow's game in Seattle, Clark probable back. Go figure. Go figure. Probable with back. So she's right there. I mean, you can't, it's a cluster. So all of a sudden, we got to find someone to replace Caitlin right away, because that means I can push my narrative. I can push my agenda. I can cram it down your throat. I can cram it down your throat. Let's find another player. Let's forget about what this player has meant to the league. I've never in my life, man, if I worked at a job and I was with someone in my cubicle and shared a desk with someone or had the same position and they were making me look good and I was getting a raise based on them, I would placate and kiss their ass, man. I would say, thank you so much. Let's work even harder. I mean, this league's the complete opposite of it. It's like you give them a bag of money, they're going to complain it's heavy, and they're going to get pissed off that Caitlin Clark decided to give them that bag of money. Think about that for a minute. What kind of sick, deranged world do we friggin' live in? Hey, by the way, my name's Caitlin Clark. I'm going to take the level. I'm going to take this league to a new level. We're going to make a lot of money. A lot of money. We're going to get broadcasting rights, merchandising, fannies in the seats. People are going to sell out. We're going to inspire the kids. Here we go. And oh, by the way, I'm going to help you guys get a 300-400% raise with salaries. You would think a normal world where the grass is green and the sky is blue, the clouds are blue, the sky is blue, the grass is green, that people would be like, let's roll, man, let's do it, let's run it back. What do you need from us? Instead, this league, they fight it tooth and nail. This league, it's a social experiment. I think some of you guys mentioned it. They should teach classes in college about this league. How to effing sabotage yourself. How to effing sabotage yourself. How to take something that can really be good to great and then turn it into shit. And you can thank the media for that too. You can thank ESPN for that, period. As being the most popular in FACE, the same thing to you. If not, what's the difference? It's not about popular. FACE, you got to think about this. I'm going to ask you guys a question right now. And I want you to chime in. I'm going to ask you this question right now. If you're talking face of the league, most popular and impactful, be honest. Face of the league, most impactful, meaning their impact to the league on the floor and off the floor, most popular, and face of the league. Okay? Isn't it the same person? Isn't it the same person? Most impactful, popular, face of the league. It's got to be the same person. Am I off base? If I am, call me out, check me. Because if I look at impactful, I'm not even talking about the stats. We don't even need to get into stats. Because the stats speak for themselves. But I feel those that don't like Caitlin Clark, and they're entitled to that. It's not, they don't like her game. They hate the fact that she's been the most impactful athlete the league has ever seen because of what she's brought to the table. And forget about the stats. If you look at right now, she's averaging 38.3 points per game from scoring and assists. That's the highest mark ever in the WNBA. 21 points, 8 assists. That's 45% assist rate, which leads high usage guards. So her play is ridiculous. Okay? Her play is ridiculous. Are there other players in the league that are very good? 100%. 100%. But I'm going popular, impact. Face of the league. It's her. And when you have someone on TV that's diminishing it, saying she needs to do more, and then trying to cram other players down your throat, that shows you the bias. That shows you non-objective. That shows you flat out hate. They flat out hate this girl. For what? For what? Why? Referees don't like her. Players don't like her. Her coach probably doesn't like her. The league doesn't like her. The commissioner doesn't like her. Some fans don't like her. It depends where you hang your hat. Bettors don't like her. If they lose the bet, stalker. I mean, well, it's. I'm telling you, it's gotten to the point where you have to check some of these talking heads. You have to. You really do. You can't allow a player that has this type of impact, or any individual who's been really good and has been nothing but positive. Someone's got to step up. People need to start stepping up. And the issue is, no one has the guts to call these reporters and these journalists out in real time. That is a problem. That's a problem. Like fear of backlash. It's not a rat ship on rat ship crime. Like, you can't sit there and you can't turn around and say, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, because the networks want to push what they want to push. Because, see, Joke chimes in, Q, how is she the most popular and the most famous? She might be the overblown athlete. No. No. Because every day she's right there. Every day people are talking about her. Every day we're talking about her. Like, you guys want to throw conspiracy theories at me? Throw conspiracy theories at me. That's fine. Whatever. But there's no other athlete I can recall that has had to deal with so many fires like this kid from these media athletes. And again, the problem I have is this is right after she does an interview with Malika, that this friggin' nut job turns around. I mean, there's a special place for you, McNutt. There really is. Like, your head's so far up, you're McNutt, it's ridiculous. Not even 5 seconds after the interview. 5 seconds after the interview, Caitlin Clark talking about the fact that it's draining the characterization of the media. Not even 5 friggin' seconds since that interview is done, McNutt says what she says. You can't defend it. You cannot defend it. You can't. I'm not going to sit there and say, she is going to make her own bed. She's going to have to lie in it. She is, because she's just a jackass. She's turning into that female version of a Ryan Clark, and that's scary. And look what happened to Ryan Clark. Just leave it at that. Look what happened to Ryan Clark. 5 seconds after Caitlin Clark does the interview, this is what Monica McNutt said.
Honest reflection, but in totality, Monica, we don't often get to hear Caitlin Clark's perspective in quite this level of honesty. And this is an important conversation to continue to have with empathy for everybody involved. So listening to that, what was your reaction?
I thought the choice, the word of being fearful of the conversation after a game that she alluded to was interesting, because oftentimes it seems, at least in the larger discourse, and not that there's not an emotional experience for Caitlin Clark, because I believe that it is, but it's the folks that are accused of doing something outside of the parameters of competition that are actually the ones that are fearful when you look at their social medias. This is what I will say. Caitlin Clark is 24. She is a shining star in the galaxy of the WNBA. But I do think as she continues to matriculate through this league, there's room for a little bit more accountability and self-awareness in terms of her role in the larger sisterhood, if she sees it that way, in the WNBA. But Malika, I agree with her 100%. It is certainly exhausting for all of us who really want to celebrate where this league is and the beautiful basketball that is being played. This larger discourse that can be very disappointing.
Yeah. Go away. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's exhausting, but you basically stoke the fire. You stoke the flames. That's exactly what you do. And look, some of you guys can say she's underrated, she's overrated. I think she's a generational player. I think people just don't like her because they don't like her. I honestly believe that. I think people look at her and they just don't like the way she looks, talks, sounds, doesn't say anything, walks. I just, there's these, the media, where the media is really at fault is that they've created these preconceived notions. They've been doing it since the dawn of time with athletes. They really have. They've done it since the dawn of times. They throw something out there and then the sheep, the masses follow and they believe what the media is saying. I told you this. You listen to this network, the POTUS is the Antichrist. You listen to this network, the POTUS is Jesus. There's no like balancing act. There's none. And the problem is, you know, from a take a step back standpoint, I mentioned 2 weeks ago she's a ticking time bomb. You can tell. Walking on eggshells, the referees, the reaction, maybe the All-Star break came at a good time. But when you're 24 and you are constantly talked about, constantly under a microscope for not what you're doing on the floor, but what people believe you should be doing, okay, it's draining. It weighs on you. You got to wonder, and it's probably a conversation for another day, but, you know, when is enough? When does a player turn around, in this case, a young girl, and they say, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Because if she leaves, everyone that constantly criticizes her and the league that doesn't support her, they are going to be the ones that suffer. They're going to be the ones that suffer. Like, you can't have nice things. They won't allow you to have nice things. And that's why I find it remarkably hilarious and comical that they allow this person to say what she says on TV and there's no recourse, which is crazy. It's crazy. I mean, some of these broadcasters, it's like they're afraid to say her name during a telecast. I don't know. They think they're going to get docked. They're going to get fined. They're going to lose money. It's not changing. It's not. It's not changing. 2027 changes, new commission, independent review calls, new rules and regs on sexual relationship. But that's another story for another day. It's a free friggin' for all. This league should have been in the 70s, by the way. WNBA will change the rules eventually. The league is playing 80s style NBA. Once they soften, she'll be Steph Curry. Marcus, I don't see it. Retro, what's going on this Monday? Appreciate you chiming in. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Monday edition on Q. Rich Quinones here. We dropped a little NFL and a little NBA earlier on today. I don't see it changing. I don't. I don't, because once your mind is made up, and I think when you don't like a player, you don't like an athlete, as fans, you know, what does that athlete need to do to change our mind? Right? Think about it. What does an athlete need to do? Marcus, appreciate that, brother. Thank you. What does an athlete need to do? Like, for those that don't like her, think she's overrated and overhyped, what is it about that you don't like? Like, what more do you want someone to do? You want them to go out and average a triple-double and be an MVP, or you just hate to hate? I get it. It's jealousy. It's bitterness. I mean, Paige said what she said, and she acted kind of a fool over the weekend. But Paige said what she said. She almost admitted she's jealous. There's envy. I actually give her credit for admitting that, because the older players, people in life, they never admit when they're jealous of someone or insecure about someone. What they do is figure out a way to knock that person down a peg. That's what we do. It's human. As opposed to just appreciating and saying, you know what, yeah, that person's better than I am in this particular area, in this particular field. Yeah, this person's talented. I got to give them their just due. Hey, listen, there's 1,000 talking heads out there, man. There's 1,000 cats that do what I do behind the microphone and call games. And I can appreciate their talent and their style. I'm not going to, piss on them. I'm not going to knock them down a peg. To each his own. People's styles are different. I might not agree with your opinion or how you cover it or how you present it, but hey, man, if you're doing a good job, more power to you. If you're putting out compelling content, more power to you. If you call a good game, a good fight, I'll give you credit where credit is due. The insecurity is unmatched. So then, going back to what I said about 40 minutes ago, you've got a player that people want to step up. You got a player that people have come out and said, you need to be vocal. You have to speak out on affairs. You need to speak. We want to make sure that you're human, right? So it takes her a week to come around after the Thomas flagrant foul, which, oh, by the way, they dropped the ball on that, the referee, and then the commissioner stepped up. Why? Because Adam Silver did. And then a week later, Caitlin Clark came out, and what did she do? She did something that few players have really done in this league. She condemned a lot of hate. Let's be fair. She condemned hate. Don't go after the players. Don't go after the league. I don't condemn it. We can be physical. We can have fun. We can be competitive. We need better officiating. But I'm not going to condone that. So she's basically right there. This sisterhood that should have given her, basically the velvet rope. They should have let her go. Come on in. You're part of the sisterhood. I mean, really, should have been prior to that. She stepped up. She defended the league. She defended the players. She condoned what we talk about on a daily basis, how some of these fans are beyond racist, juvenile clowns, nasty hatred people. So she stepped up. So now people are still not satisfied with it because, you know what? We want some more. We want some more. We want some more. You got to keep talking. You got to keep talking about what's going on. You have to talk about the POTUS. You got to talk about Iran. You have to talk about black, white. You have to talk about yellow, green. You have to talk about straight, gay. You have to talk about poor, rich. You got to talk about middle-class America. We need to know what you're thinking, Caitlin Clark. When in her mind, she's like, Jesus, God, I'm 24. I just want to play ball. I just want to play basketball. That's all I want to do. I want to play basketball. I want to have fun. I want to do something that I love doing. And guess what? You guys are sucking the joy and the air out of it. So she finally talks. She finally says something. She shows she's vulnerable. So again, if you are Monica McNutt, can you have a little bit of decorum, a decent bone in your body? Hey, you know what? That was good stuff. I'm glad she came out. I give her a lot of credit. She showed a lot of strength. And you know what? She's the face of the league. Or she doesn't even have to say that. She's a talented kid. She's 24. Sky's the limit. And she showed us a little vulnerability. And I hope people kind of see her for that. She's human. Let's all back off. Nope, she didn't do that. No, she didn't do that. She did something classless. She basically stoked the fire and she punched a kid right in the gut while she was already down taking a 10 count. That's what she did with those comments. I'm sorry. There's no other way that you read that. Accountable for what? Responsible for what? What more do you want somebody to do? It's like you keep taking and taking and taking so you can get the content, you can get the eyeballs, you can have the opinion. And then finally, she turns around and says, F you. F you, ESPN. F you, WNBA. I'm taking my ball and I'm going somewhere else. And guess what? Deal with your content. Deal with your crap. Deal with your eyeballs. Have your own opinion. And yeah, to your point, some of you guys, and I know Panama makes a great point, if they get fired, they'll make their money doing a podcast where they're going to have free reign. And then you guys control them all you want. I get it. It's cynical. It's cynical. I just wish it would stop. Seriously, I just wish it would stop. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I'm in La La Land. I have an opinion. I've always had an opinion. And if I believe in something, I stand behind it. I back it up. I have my convictions. And it's very hard for me to sway from my opinion once I'm kind of set on my ways. However, as I've gotten older and I've been doing this longer, you start to be open-minded and you want to hear an opposing view. You want to hear a different side, a second set of eyes. And then all of a sudden, I see where you're coming from. I see where, look, entitled opinion is one thing, but just a little bit of decorum, a little bit of class. And we couldn't even get that. And then we wonder why certain players don't want to talk, don't want to be in front of the camera. You know, the whole, again, man, I'm telling you, the whole just the white girl from the Midwest. I just, I don't know. What does that have, like, what does that mean? Seriously, what does that mean? What does it mean? But whatever. Scott doing a good job at trolling. Scott thinks that we only watched WNBA 2 years ago. Scott 78D, I'm just going to allow the commenters to get on you, brother. But I say that in tongue-in-cheek. Nah, I've been watching the WNBA for about 15, 20 years because, I call games for a living. This is what I do, but I appreciate you. Scott likes to chime in and just throws a little jab out there. Retro's in the house. We saw that. Oh, Yo-Yo's in the house. How about that? Yo-Yo Moo. I love Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo hasn't chimed in a while. My goodness. What do we got there? Sarge chiming in from Delaware. Pam chiming in. Saw Retro up there. Saw D. Saw Kevin. Saw another Marcus, Monday Marcus, who listened to me on the radio, chiming in. All right, we got that. Pam, I don't know what to tell you. Has nothing to do with her talent, right? Has nothing to do with her talent. Joe is not on the page, but he's on X. Q, is there any way you can block that clown, Scott? Nah, I'm going to allow it. Don't worry about it. Yo, as a Puerto Rican, ¿cómo está? ¿Qué tal? Female, and CC has brought joy to millions around the world. She's so likable and so relatable and so much more. Appreciate that. Gracias por tu tiempo. I appreciate that. Yes, they want to slander her at any turn. At any turn. But I did ask the question for those that don't like her, why you don't like her, and no one's been able to answer me. No one's been able to answer me. Like, legit answer. Legit answer. Right? And, look, it's very hard to compare NBA to WNBA guys and girls. It really is. It is. You got players that just want to play, right? And Caitlin Clark strikes me as a girl that she just wants to play ball. And I'm sure there's a lot of girls in this league that just want to play. They don't want the headache. They don't want the drama. But when you keep sucking the life and the air out of somebody, it's like being in that bad, volatile, depressing job or relationship. You wake up every day and you turn around and you're like, ugh. You're like, really? Like, why are you still in my bed? Right? Or you go to the office and you're like, isn't it time for your vacation? It weighs on you. It really does. And to be 24, and I know the naysayers out there, and I know the trolls, I know where you guys are going with this. I know exactly where you guys are going with this. The trolls and the naysayers and the haters will say, well, she brought it on herself. I'm not really sure how's that possible. If you're just a great player, why can't we just enjoy it? We can't, because we always want to find fault. We want to nitpick. We want to find a reason to say they're not as good as we think they are. They're not as good as they think they are. They're not as good as the networks say they are, right? We don't want anyone to believe their press clippings. So what happens? You just keep going and going and going and going, and you just keep dogging and dogging and dogging. I'm telling you right now, if this continues, she will turn around, and any player would eventually, and just say, enough is enough. I'm not doing it anymore. It's not the most outlandish thing we've ever seen or heard. Young players retire. Young players quit. Young players deal with some nagging injuries, and they got to retire. Maybe they're just, it's just not a right fit. The timing's off. It's not working out here. It's not working out with this league. It's not working out with this franchise. They decide to go in a different direction. They get burned out. It happens. It really does. We've seen it happen. It's very rare because we always talk about great players, their careers being cut short or derailed because of injuries. But this is now a different animal. What do we got, Marcus? What do you got, brother? Come on, Rich. White folks were hating on Tiger and Serena Williams. Racist on both sides. 100%. Marcus, I literally said on the air, there's white hosts out there that are beyond racist. We've seen it. 100%. People didn't like Tiger. People didn't like Serena. Tiger made golfing cool. Love watching Serena. I've been watching tennis for a long time, man. Long time. Love Wimbledon, U.S. Open. Still remember Jimmy Connors. Give them what they want. Aaron Krickstein. 100%. No one, again, is disputing that. There are racists all over the place. My problem is that stop employing them. Stop giving them a microphone or call them out. Check them. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to check people because they're afraid of the backlash. These WNBA reporters, I mean, it's like even when we talk about some of these NFL reporters, Kyle Shanahan gets in a car accident July 14th. Now, if you're an NFL friggin' insider and you have a prominent head coach in the NFL that gets in a horrific crash where he breaks his nose, fractured ribs, hurts his arm, gets 40 stitches, middle of July, and we're finding out about it now, and you're supposed to be NFL insiders? Why? Because the only information that you truly get that's inside is leaked from the teams. That's all that is. You're not doing your job. You're not reporting it. You're ignoring it, or you don't want to ruffle the feathers. Well, case in point to what you're saying, Mark, is you've got some of these reporters out there, and we know they are racist. We know they push this certain narrative and agenda, but nobody wants to check them. Nobody wants to check them. I'm sorry. If that said to me, if I'm co-hosting a show and it's on the WNBA or ESPN, I'm literally, what do you mean by that? If I'm that BBC reporter and someone turns around and they're talking about Caitlin Clark, and it's a Monica McNutt job, and she said, well, can you expand on that? What does that mean? What does that have to do with her talent? She's a white girl from middle America. What does that mean? They only like her because she's a quiet, plain Jane looking girl from middle America who happens to be white and straight? So we're going to ignore her talent on the basketball field? You watch how fast jaws would have dropped. You saw Stacey Dales go on ESPN. They looked like they were crying on Christmas friggin' Day because there were no more gifts to unwrap. She checked them. You need more people like that. No matter what, there's always going to be prejudice. No matter what, there's always going to be racist. 100%. We've gone through this. We've gone down this rabbit hole for weeks now, for months now with the content. And I've been doing it for years with different leagues. And I know athletes. I told you this. I have great rapport with a lot of players. They used to tell me horror stories on the road. You know, a little baptism by fire in certain places. Even boxers from back in the day, what they had to endure. The black African-American boxers. Even some of the Puerto Rican boxers, Cuban boxers when they came over here. And some of the places that they had to fight. And some of the hatred. I mean, I know the history of that. Trust me. I do. I've been calling fights for 20 plus years. So I understand what you're saying and the frustration, and I appreciate it. It's not about the white, black, yellow, green reporter. It's about when you have an athlete, and in this case, a 24-year-old that has the weight of the world on her shoulders, that finally opens up, finally peels back the curtain, finally just gives you a little bit that you're clamoring for to make sure that they're human, that when they cut, they bleed red like we do. They bleed blood. And not even 5 seconds later, you take that and you basically turn around and you spit right back in her face. You don't do that to someone that's vulnerable. That's not being genuine. That's not being sincere. I wasn't raised that way. That's Bush League, man. That is Bush League, and she wasn't checked. And then you got to fill it with this. You know, you try to shed a positive light on the sisterhood and the league, and that would ingratiate you. What sisterhood, man? You know, when you're little and you're really trying hard to fit in and you want to be part of this pack, you want to be part of this group, and then you realize, you know what? You're never going to get accepted. Stop wasting your time. It's not meant to be. They're not really going to be your friends. This league, they're not her friends. They don't care about her. This league basically says you are all a bunch of mercenaries. You're all a bunch of mercenaries. We're going to throw you out there, man. Whoever runs on the beach first, let's go. Have at it. Fire away. You're all expendable. And the one really good thing they have that can filter down with the other handful of really good players in the league to build something worth watching, they shit on it. Even the All-Star game. You had a chance to flip the script. You had a chance to put out a good product, a competitive product, not, oh, it's the All-Star game, people are going to get hurt. Duh. Now, with everything that's going on, the way the media has been shedding a negative light on the players, the league, the commissioner, the officiating, All I wanted to see was a little bit of competitive spirit. That's it. Work up a sweat, play a little hard. Don't treat it like Game 7 of the NBA Finals. And instead, and it's not even about pinpointing a highlight, the players walked the ball up the floor. It looked like an over 60 league on a Saturday at the Y, and the players were trying to work off cores. That was a disgraceful performance. They should be embarrassed. So then what happens? You sit there and say the league is a joke, and then you got one or two players that are trying to play hard, but no one else wants to. You understand where I'm going with this? It's self-sabotage, man. That's all they're doing. And then you've got the media that decides, let me continue to self-sabotage, because as much as my job is to be fair and objective, it's okay to try to shine a nice positive light, but they can't even do that. They don't want to. They don't. I don't even know, like I said, it gets to the point where it just reminds me of maybe that friend you have that no matter what, they can have a beautiful wife, kids, car, job, house, and man, every day, instead of waking up grateful, you know what they do? They wake up and they bitch and they whine. And it's like, what are you doing? Look what you have in front of you. Look what you have in front of you. You got a loving wife. You got healthy kids. You got a stable job and benefits. You got a nice house. You go on vacation. You got a car. You got your friggin' health. But every day you're bitching that the coffee is too cold. The toast was burnt. The eggs were runny. Jesus God. Until one day, the missus packs up everything, the dog and the kids, and you're left by yourself. Like, that's what this league is doing. And the media is basically helping them along the way. They're helping them along the way, man. They're expediting it. That's exactly what they're doing. That's why I'm pissed off tonight. That's why I'm aggravated. Because you have something really good, and instead of talking about it, you just want to keep shitting on it. That's a problem. Cockroaches. My father used to say that, cockroaches. People are cockroaches we have never heard of and are leading off CC for the street cred and clicks. There are several players who like CC. Don't smear them all. Shauna, I would say this. 95% of the league doesn't like her. So I'm going to smear 95% of the league. I'm sorry. Love when you chime in, but I'm sorry. 95% of the league, if you gave them truth serum and backed them in the corner, no. And it's fake-like. I'm sure she's got a little handful of players that she's tight with, right? I'm sure the Cunninghams of the world, you know, some of the players I mentioned that she has ties with the Sparks, a select few. The rest of them can't stand her. You know it and I know it. That's just facts. It's the reality. It's fake. It's fake. We know those groups. We might have those friends in groups where they sit there and they love to see you and they smile. As soon as you turn around, they talk behind. They're not legit. They're frauds. They're fake. You know why? Because God forbid if they went against the grain, that they would be dismissed. That's the other problem. Some of these veterans, get the hell out of the league and retire already because you're so friggin' toxic. Period. You're so toxic. Nobody wants to hear anything about what you think. No one cares about your opinion anymore. Your time is done. You're bad for the league. You're not mentoring. You're not inspiring. You're not taking under your wing. All you're doing is basically pissing, moaning, and crying. That's all you're doing because you can't stand when shines on younger players. I mean, the pettiness and the jealousy. But as I said, ESPN, thank the rat ship. Seriously. You can thank the rat ship because the rat ship justified, validated what I've been saying now for months. What I've been saying for years. What I've been saying since she came into the league. She is the face of the league. Period. You're everywhere. You're wrong. Oh man, that's a good one. Oh man, that Pete, you know what? Pete, I don't think Pete is kind of a half a rolling troll, even though Pete had a very good, Pete came with it talking movies with me. So I'm okay with that. Just imagine how many times CC has vetted to her family because of the drama. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. And look, I'm not, yeah, any team would want her, but again, put it in perspective, right? Put it in perspective. New York, LA, yeah, she's not going to be, but not everyone's going to like her on that team, is my point. No matter where she goes, unless she clones herself 4 other times and it's a starting 5 of CC's, she's not going to be 100% accepted and liked. She's just not. She can play on a team. They can be ecstatic and happy, but there's going to be 1 or 2, or you never know about the coaching staff. It's apparent. It's apparent. It's not about one set team. It's the league as a whole. Okay? It's the league as a whole. They just don't like her. They won't accept her. She'll never win an MVP award. She can average a friggin' triple-double. They won't allow it. They won't, because she does not fit the narrative. She's not one of them. She's not one of them. Part of me wishes she would start her own league. I really do. I know you guys always think I'm being goofy and outlandish for saying that, but I honestly believe it. Bring in your own commissioner, president, get your bank, get your backing, PPM, private placement. Here we go. Get some former NBA players, get WNBA players you can trust. Bring in the right people. CCL, there we go. Caitlin Clark League, here we go. And there's no divisiveness. There's no nonsense. I'm not a troll. I'm a voice of truth and justice for all mankind. Nah, Pete, you're a little bit. A little bit. Respect Caitlin Clark's game, but the haters are not. No, they're not. Tommy Boy in Newcastle, Delaware chimes in. Q, I tend to agree with you. I don't think the league really likes her. I think it's fake. I do too. Which is a shame, because here's a player that's responsible for increasing salary. So you would think someone or some of the players would be respectful. Look, and I say that with somewhat of an exaggeration. Don't take it, like 100%. Needs to hire one. No hater. Lee CC is all class. McNutt is unhit. What is that? What is that you threw up there, Shauna? Is that a little... I can't... What is that? I'm trying to figure... Is that a dog? I don't know. It looks like a dog. ESPN needs to hire one. No hater at least. CC is all class. McNutt is an hinge. She's McNutt. She's definitely McNutt. They do, Marcus? White people do the same thing? What? Did I miss something, Marcus? Are you telling me there's white racists in the world? Yes, there are. There's racists all over the place. Trust me. I did raid on Ohio. I can tell you some of the shit that was said to me. When I was on the air in Delaware, I can show you some of the hate messages I would get. You would be like, oh my goodness, Delaware? Ohio? Yeah. It's all over the place. It is. It's all over the place. And they will eventually get exposed. Why can't we just, I'm not going to say get along, which would be nice, but, when we watch sports, I'm not even saying kumbaya, because opinions are opinions. And that's what makes what we do and you guys engaging fun, right? Because we all have different takes and different opinions. But along the way, if you're not being honest, then we can see right through that. You don't have to like if you want to criticize. If you want to be opinionated, be opinionated. But I just, for the life of me, be truthful. Don't just say shit to say shit. And you do have to have a level of dignity and class. You can still have an opinion, but be fair about it. You can have an opinion and be respectful about it. You can have an opinion, but be, you can be a little soft. And trust me, I'm the last person to sit there and say be soft, because I'm loud as hell. You guys know that already. And I get fired up and I get feisty on the air, 100%. But then I kind of come back and we're talking about some of the serious issues, and I don't try to placate anyone. I try to be very fair and transparent. And ESPN and some of these other networks and talking heads, by continuously talking about her and highlighting her and calling into question her talent and criticizing her, that is just justifying she is the face of the league and she is hated, which is sad. She should be revered. She should be respected. I'm not saying bend over and kiss her ass. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have a good thing, you kind of hang on to it. Because if you blink, it's going to be taken away. This is not like watching Peyton Manning late in his career, Joe Montana with Kansas City, Tom Brady with Tampa. They had their body of work, man. They went through the cycle. I'm not talking about, Joe Namath limping around with the Rams or Johnny Unitas 71, 72 with the Chargers, well past their prime, right? We understood what they meant to the sport of football. LeBron right now, 2 years with the 76ers. He's in his 23rd, 24th league. LeBron, an all-time great. Say whatever you want about LeBron James. You can compare him to Michael. Matt, doesn't matter. He's had that body of work. You've watched it. He's gone up. We've enjoyed it, whether you were critical of him or not. And I've been very critical of LeBron throughout the course of his career, right? But this kid is a couple years in the league, and they're trying to do this. They're trying to keep pressing and pushing her down. I have an issue with that. I have a problem with that. Because in any other league, if we're talking about these players and they're 23, 24, like for instance, why do some other players get a pass? I mean, I don't hear anyone sitting there saying, well, you know what, you need Angel Reese to come out and talk about X, Y, and Z. I don't hear that. Or Wilson coming out talking about X, Y, Z, or Mitchell coming out. Why is it Caitlin Clark? Why? Because you guys have announced her the face of the league. So with that, you want some type of accountability and responsibility. Isn't the job to play ball? Isn't the job to do what she's already done? Break records, win games, inspire, right? Bring families to the seats, more eyeballs, sell merchandise, help with broadcast rights, help with ratings. She's done all that. So when someone says, be more, now all of a sudden, at first we just want the players to shut up and dribble and shut up and play, but now they have to have an opinion on social issues. They have to have an opinion. That's why, Obama turns around and basically tells her, don't listen to the noise. Block it out. Block it out. Sometimes, man, it just gets crazy. What do we got here? I like that handle, Mr. Soul. Folks wanted the legal sports book. This is what it brings. Way past that. I mean, we already know what the sports gambling community does. I do a pod. I've been doing a pod. I've been on sports betting talk for years. I do my pod, Back Your Play. It's going to be dropping again with the NFL and college right around the corner. We do the plays, the picks, the trends, everything. And to your point, and I'm sure you're talking about what happened with Gray, with the 9.5 and then total 12 points. And then, of course, the guy came out and did what he did. No place for that, man. No place for that. So now you've got, think about this, right? You've got these gamblers losing. They're fired up. Then they've got uncontrollable hate issues. They're racist. They're prejudiced. And they hate because they hate, and then they lose their bet. That's a dangerous combination, is it not? McNutt is telling us she's not going to stop talking crap about CC ever. Well, then I'm going to keep calling her out. Why y'all get so mad? Because there's a difference. So let me address this, Marcus. It's not about an opinion. You're not, when I say you, I just want to make it clear. I say stuff, I have an opinion, and it could rub people the wrong way, and you guys can call me out anytime you want. My point is this. I have a problem with the timing of it. I have a problem when you are berating someone to finally open up and speak, because that's what they're doing. They are baiting her. The L. Duncans, the Douglases, the McNutts, they're baiting her. Come out and say something finally. And she does. She opens up. She's vulnerable. White, black, yellow, green, straight, gray, I don't care. She does something against the norm. Something probably her PR team told her, don't do it. She said, no, let me talk, let me open up. And she tells you, it's taxing. It is taxing. I'm exposing myself right now. I'm telling you that I need to fight back against the false media claims. Follow me, please. I have to fight back on the media lies and the drama. And then, not even 5 seconds, the segment is done running and McNutt says what she says. Come on. No one should not have an issue with that. You should all have an issue with that. That's not an opinion. That is pissing on a kid. That's what that is. That is what that is. It's false characterization. Basically, that's one of the reasons once Congress got involved, I flipped my shit because I'm like, here we go. Here come the comments. Confederate Caitlin Clark. She has nothing to do with that. Come on. She's being open. She's showing herself. And then what happens? Now you got to be held accountable and self-awareness. Do you not see a problem with that? Read the friggin' room, McGoofy. Self-aware? She literally just spoke. She's telling you she's got media fatigue. She can't take it anymore. And then you come and you kick her right in the, you know what? That is a problem. That is Bush League, man. And shame for Malika Andrews, who's too friggin' scared to check back. She's not gonna. You want to see more? What? What more do you want to see? What more do you want to see? My God, her impact has affected the league enormously, financially. This is the reason that friggin' Humberdick is going to be able to save her job as commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, because of the dollars and the cents when she shows the P&L to friggin' Adam Silver. But yet we're supposed to believe that she's got to show us more? Come on. It's not an opinion. That was a BS comment, that's all. It was a BS comment. It really was. It was classless. But it goes to what ESPN is doing and what a lot of the media does. I'm telling you, I watch a ton of hoops. A ton of hoops. And a lot of you guys comment in and you're like, hey, Q, check out this channel. You know, you might like this channel. And you know, once in a while when I have time, because I'm doing broadcasts left and right and the overnights and doing the show every day. I caught 4 fights over the weekend, plus the overseas stuff. I'm exhausted. So you guys send me a couple different channels and you're like, hey, check them out. Some of these channels, and like I said, to each his own, man. To each his own. But it's not even clickbait. I mean, it's not even factually real. It's not even factually legit. It's not even honest. Like, that's not my thing. That's not my style. That's not what I'm trying to share with you guys or convey or put out. At least I'm trying to be genuine. I'm not trying to be disingenuous. So when I hear something like that, I have to have an opinion on it, whether you agree with me or not. But I don't see how you can disagree with me on this one because of the timing of it and how she kind of manufactures this narrative that a 24-year-old has to be held to a certain standard when we should be talking about her game on the floor and her impact within the league. But yet we want blood. Never satisfied, man. Never satisfied. We just want. And the older generation, the older players, they see a player like this come on, burst on the scene. You know, yes, we know about the trailblazers of these leagues. We totally get it, right? You know, without the Mikens, the Kuzis, the West, the Maravich, the Russells, the Robinsons, the Unselds, the Kareems, the Chamberlains, the list goes on, the Pettits, on and right? Without those guys, the NBA, right? Then Magic, Bird, it grows. You always kind of get thanks to those to kind of pay the trailblazers. There have certainly been trailblazers, but it's also a different era. It's a different time. There was not social media 30 years ago. There wasn't. And ESPN was in its infancy, and they were trying to find any type of content back in the day. People forget that. You know, the reason that you had some of the obscure sports on is because they had to fill time. It's not pay to play. You know, you get that carriage agreement, you're on a network, you're by yourself, and you bill yourself as 24/7, you better give me some content. You better. You know, and what did they do? They started to tap into the majors, obviously, and then really tap into college basketball. ACC, Big East, and then they started to tap into what? Women's college basketball. So they understood the market, but social media was not really around. It wasn't. If you go back 25, I mean, think about when you started to get an X, or if you were Tom in MySpace or Facebook, or all now these apps. It was not, it wasn't there. So a lot of these players that feel slighted, well, it's just because of the timing. No one was really slighting you. They understood what you meant to the game of basketball, 100%, and you helped the league grow. Listen, the first ones always go through the door, right? They get riddled with they get bloodied big time. They get bloodied first. We know that. We know that. And then obviously UConn really started to set the stage. Now prior to that, BYU, of course, right? Texas, and okay, but it was really UConn. That's when everyone really started to gravitate a lot more towards college basketball. And when you have a college and a university that's winning 10, 11, 12 titles, that's a big thing. When you have a head coach that wins over 1,000 career games, it's a story, right? We saw their dominance. So, yes, to what you guys are saying, some of the older players, they look around, even if you go back to the ODUs back in the day, great runs, right? The LSUs, the Louisiana Techs, all those players that came, played overseas, played in the WNBA, played in their own rights. They were the trailblazers. No one's saying that. But there wasn't X, IG, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube content like this, like there was 30 years ago. If there was, maybe they're going to get their shine and maybe they feel much more appreciated. I don't know. I can't speak to that. But we live in a different time right now. You watch it, you snip it, you cut it, you throw it up there. And then everyone's going to have an opinion on it. And like I said, I just think there is a way to go about it and a way not to. And, I don't know. My opinion, because this is what I do, I think she's getting an unfair shake from the media, the league. Forget about the referees, some of the players. And whether you guys don't see it or not, that's on you. And it's very easy to sit there and say, well, it doesn't matter if she's not being treated fairly, but yeah, it does. Because we watch everything. You wouldn't be saying the same thing if you're so gung-ho about politics. I mean, let's be honest. People get fanatical over it. You watch this network, like I said, left, right, here we go. The president's viewed in a certain light on network A, and then he's viewed in a certain light on network B, and we already know which networks they are. You know it, and I know it. So you get sucked in, and then the narrative's being pushed, and you start to believe it. So for someone like me that does this for a living, yeah, I don't like what I'm seeing from the media. I have a problem with it. You're not really telling the whole story. You're not being fair. You're not being objective. You can be opinionated, but you're also coming off with false propaganda and nonsense. You can't keep characterizing certain players and athletes like this freely and think there's no recourse. There's not going to be backlash. I mean, this woman wants Caitlin Clark to be held accountable. Who's holding her accountable? That's an issue. If she was black, 100% wrong. 100%. Marcus, 100%. You don't know me, my friend. You haven't listened to me for years. No. I would be saying the same thing, man. I would be, if a white host, okay, was doing that interview with BBC, and let's just say Caitlin Clark is black, or let's say it's about Mitchell or Wilson or Reese, and they pulled that crap and said, well, yeah, because she's a black kid from the inner city, I would have checked her ass right there. I would have checked her ass. 100%, man. You can't speak to me on that because you don't know me. You can't speak to me on that. Trust me, because I've been in that boat before. I've called out people in that regard. When I say I've been doing this for a minute, I've been doing this for a minute. That crap, I don't tolerate. I just don't. I don't. I've called out other athletes on the radio for thinking like that in the past. Media guys for pushing that narrative in the past. Trust me. And I can tell you, they hung up, Never heard from them again, and I'm okay with that. So I would be saying the same thing. If that player, if Caitlin Clark is black and she came in the league 24 and she's trying to break these records and she's being screwed, she's being scrutinized, she's being under the microscope, she's being prejudiced against her, biased against her, the referees are not calling in her favor and they're banging her ass all over the floor, I would come up and I would say the same exact thing. I told you, at the end of the day, white, black, yellow, green, I don't care. If you're being treated poorly, we're talking about it. If you're not being given a fair shake, I'm talking about it. If you have that impact on the league and you're purple, if you're blue, if you're striped, and you're being treated like that, we're talking about it. You can't dismiss that, man. I love when you comment in, but I got to check you on that, brother. I got to call you out because I don't think like that. And maybe I'm different. Maybe I am. But I don't tolerate that kind of crap. Play it even, man. Play both sides. Seriously. Seriously. I've had athletes come on my show that were African American that tried to play the race card with me, and I wasn't having it. I wasn't having it at all. I wasn't. And I've had in the past where I've interviewed some white coaches that I can tell where they were going, and I checked them. So trust me, I would feel the same way. Just be fair. That's all. Just be fair. That's it. And she's not being treated fairly. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Now, you want to sit there and say she needs to speak up? I've said it. But obviously, look what happens when she talks. It's misconstrued. It's taken out of context. Or it's very disingenuous. So it's like, it's almost a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's a problem. It's a problem. Now look, second half of the season starting. Tomorrow we might talk a little MVP midway through. But man, it's just, I've been watching. I can tell you this right now. Someone asked me, how long have I honestly been watching league? I would say 10 plus years. I would say 10, 11 years I've been really, because I call women's basketball and I call stuff overseas. So I've been really watching it. I would say, I would probably say 2010-ish. 2011. That was about 14, 15. And because I love college basketball, but I started to, dip into the, I would probably say when Tina Charles won the MVP. What was that, 2010, 2011? So that's 14-something odd years. And I love watching these players in college. And here's the other thing, for those that are tuning in for the first time. I come off as extremely critical of Angel Reese. I've said this on the record. I like Angel Reese. I said it on the record. I like Angel Reese. I do. I think she's a hell of a rebounder. I didn't like what happened with Brondello, right? But she's starting to come into her own. There are so many, there are some great players in this league, period. And I think that year, that's when they struck up the deal, or a new deal with, because some of the games, the Liberty played Prudential Center in Newark, and then they had the renovations because they had the renovations at MSG. So I would say, 2011-12. So I guess, I would consider myself somewhat, I'm allowed an authority to speak on it. And some of the leagues that I call in the States and overseas, they're pretty damn good level of competition, but the game is totally different in Europe. It's different in Asia. It is. I've talked about this so many times. The ball doesn't even hit the floor. You go to some of these leagues, whether it's in Malta, the Ghana leagues, it's a different brand of basketball. It is. Everyone's touching the ball. They have patience. They're working inside. It's hard to watch this league at times because the officiating's so bad. It kills the ebb and flow. But I get annoyed or bothered or like, this is brutal. I've never seen a league, for some reason, it seems more pronounced this year. Maybe it's because of the bad officiating, that there's like fundamentals are lacking, which I think makes the product at times. A lot of turnovers, a lot of missed bunnies, missed layups, poor shot selection. And I already told you how I think about the coaching. So, what do we got there? Freaking name. Oh, you guys are getting fired up. Face is the face. Automatically see in your mind when you think of that thing. Said this yesterday. I feel bad for all the people that went to the All-Star game, pay $3.80 a ticket to watch that horrible game. Ugh. So when I flipped it on, that was Saturday. So I called the fights Friday in Philly. I did a remote that was on the West Coast for the fights Saturday night. So it was supposed to go off first bell, 7:30, 10:30, my time, our time, East Coast time. And I was flipping through, and I was doing my notes, right? I was on, just looking at the fighter stuff, going, because we have the tail of the tape that I got to read off and everything. And I was watching the game a little bit, one eye on the game coming back, one eye on the game coming back. And there was a moment of the game where I literally thought it was warm-ups because they were walking up and down the floor and no defense, like literally just walking the ball to the floor. And I said, you got to be kidding me. This is just, this is bad. And then when I saw Angel Reese get blocked when she was walking down the floor and then she tripped coming back, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I'm like, this is not good. This is a bad product. That's all. What's interesting too is if you get a chance, watch some of these leagues overseas. If you are a hoops junkie like I am, definitely watch. The game is different. It really is. And also too, with the men's, the European game, I mentioned this too, and I talk about this on my other podcast. I have an overseas podcast called Overseas Dimes that airs overseas. And I talk to a lot of players, and they'll tell you that, with the Europeans, they get the kids, they want, 9, 10-year-olds to play against 16-year-olds, 16-year-olds to play against 20-year-olds, 20-year-olds to play against 25 and 30-year-olds. We don't do that in the States. You have AAU, right? You have all these programs. Then obviously you go to high school, you're 5-star recruit, you go to a good college, D1, D2, whatever. You got AAU, you got McDonald's All-American, you got all these camps, you got all these pro-ams, you got this, the Sunny Hills, the Vaqueros, you got all this stuff going on, right? Lenny Cook told me this. Lenny Cook, I might try to get Lenny Cook on the air one day. Lenny Cook, at the time, him and LeBron were basically 1 and 2 high school, right? And Lenny Cook, he was more sought after than LeBron. But during one of the tournaments in summertime, LeBron actually got the better of Lenny Cook. And then all of a sudden, everyone was noticing LeBron a lot more. Now, again, Lenny Cook bounced around, played overseas, got hurt, had some issues, never really fully made it in the NBA. But it just shows you timing is everything. And, at that moment, LeBron got the better of him. More eyes were on him. Everyone's going back to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in college and this and that. And if you really followed, you kind of knew who the players were prior to. Like, obviously, if you're in Iowa and you're listening, you're watching this kid play in high school. It just was a little more magnified when they played college ball. And then the media wanted to derive this rivalry and try to have those two be the next Magic and Bird, when it was ridiculous because Clark, Reese. I mean, Angel Reese is no Caitlin Clark. But again, it just proves my point, what the media tries to conjure, right? What do we got there? Yep, agree with you. People are watching the game internationally now. Which players are most international fans? That's a great point. I'm telling you guys, watch some of the overseas if you can. Clayton Clark is overrated. All right. I mean, you want to throw 31% from beyond the arc. I think league average is 33. You're entitled to your opinion. My man Marcus just basically banging it out on a Monday. Her game is exciting. Speed, dime, deep three. She plays like no other one before. The way Serena served like a dude. I was a huge Serena Williams fan. I was. I like that power. I like watching dominance. And she was as dominant as they come, right? And to your point, Shauna, yeah, I mean, you watch her stop on a dime, right? And you draw that defender, she's putting the ball right on the floor and exploding right by you. I mean, that's the rub when you try to defend her. Even if you face guard her. I mean, she's got that quick release too. It's crazy. It's crazy. And she is a volume shooter. Period. She's a volume shooter. She's a streaky shooter at times too, but once she starts knocking on her shots, you need to get her involved in the offense early. That's why people are like, Steph Curry, here we go. The shot she makes on the floor where she has confidence to shoot anywhere, and I'm appreciating this. As a female basketball player, the stroke, the shots, the depth of to me, that shit is impressive. Watching it. It is. That to me is impressive. It really is. I'm like, this kid can friggin' shoot. She can shoot. Hamburger Helper. I like Hamburger Helper. CC not overrated. Good Lord, give that girl a break. Stop hating on her. People like to hate. And that's okay. You're not going to, again, appreciate her until she's out of the league. Period. And, hey, Tanya, what's up, T? Michelle Beto actually said CC is a real man part on Linda Cohen's pod, kind of saying she deserves the physicality she gets. Beto's a little bit of a hater, too. You know, she's kind of lost her shine. She has. She's kind of lost her shine. Some of her takes are pretty friggin' obnoxious. I mean, she's a San Antonio Spurs fan, and she was friggin' crying all the way during the NBA Finals. I used to like Michelle Beadle. I don't like her takes. I don't even listen to the pod. I like Linda Cohen, though. But no, to your point, T, that's the kind of crap I'm telling you about. Like, you can't sit there and say you deserve that physicality. You're condoning her getting raked across the face and knocked on her ass. It just makes no sense. It's just petty. Petty. It's just petty. It's jealousy at the worst form. Beyond exhausting. Beyond exhausting. McNutt is. McGoofy. McNutt job. She takes enough shots. 31%. She still scores 25. That's a solid take. Here he goes and say, you're talking about, the comments on CC. Listen, we know on the thread, even though there's like 800 comments, we know who doesn't like CC. We can point them out. There's probably 3 or 4 right now commenting in that can't stand Caitlin Clark. And no matter what, I mean, Marcus is, there it is. There it is, Marcus. Marcus, I don't want to do it on a Monday, brother. I don't want to get you. I don't want to, Marcus, what are you doing? Come on, what are you doing? That's the old adage that if Kardashian never gets out of the car, we're going to remember Hilton. We're going to remember Paris and not Kim when we saw her for the first time. Marcus, what are you doing? You're feeding to the masses. I don't want to feed you to the wolves. Not on a Monday. I don't want to do it. Not overrated. Generational player. There is this part of me that I want to will her so bad to average a triple-double, win MVP, and win a championship. And I can tell you this. Let's just say this. I think we can all agree. She could average a triple-double. She can win league MVP. She can win championships. And you know what? It wouldn't matter. Can we all agree? Remember that great scene? If Pete, who trolls, but he's a movie guy, probably knows exactly what I'm saying. Remember Christmas Vacation? When Chevy Chase was doing the lights, he was like obsessed with the lights. It had to be the lights. He had to figure out a way to put the lights up, the little twinkling lights. And then like every time the missus went in the garage, she would pull him out, and then he would get all pissed off and he wouldn't understand. He's like, I did everything. I have to go through it all one time. He finally gets the lights. Remember, he spazzes out and he goes like this, woo, 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 woo. And the lights come together and the house lights up and it's like a friggin' Christmas miracle. It looks like God came down and lit every light. And then he brings the whole family out, and his father-in-law, every light, it looks gorgeous, right? I mean, it was cheesy looking, but it looked gorgeous. Everything was shining. Here we go. The spirit, the reindeer, Rudolph, Santa, Christmas time, Festivus, festival, whatever the hell it is. Let's go. And the father-in-law says what? He walks right up to him and he goes, little light's not twinkling, Clark. And he goes, thanks for pointing that out. Like, that's when I think of Caitlin Clark and the naysayers. This girl can go out and average the triple-double. She can win MVP. She can win back-to-back-to-back championships with Indiana. And there will still be someone out there that says overrated, overhyped, stinks, shoot too much, 31%, plain Jane. Oh, my goodness. I don't like the way she looks. I don't like the way she talks. Someone's going to have a problem. I hand you $1 million, you're going to complain the bag is hairy. We cannot control that, folks. We can't. We can't. And we can't will stuff to happen in life. We just can't. We just can't. I think once the league starts to make the transition to younger, and I'm hoping, the upshot league is the feeder system. So if you can treat it like a G League and you can get some good players, young players, hungry players, and you see some of these vets who are drawn towards the end of their career. And we know, look, we're not privy to what goes on with every team, on every flight, in every locker room. But I think we're smart enough, all of us, to surmise that the jealousy runs rampant, no matter what, because you've got one player. And if you endured, and I feel bad for you, the All-Star game, every other commercial, Caitlin Clark was in it. So humans are what? We're wired a certain way. Like, why is she getting hers? Why is he getting his? Where's mine? I deserve this. I deserve that. Well, sometimes it just wasn't meant to be. Sometimes your time has come to an end. So when you kind of reshuffle some of these older players out the door and they retire, they're going to go on TV and they're still going to piss on this kid. They're going to have podcasts. They're going to piss on this kid. They're going to do other shows. They're still going to piss on the younger generation because they did not get the type of flowers, shine, and exposure. And it's not through their fault. I think a lot of it has to do with the influx, as I said, of social media. We can't deny that. If social was around back in the day with some of these, all-time great players, I mean, hell, the commemorative poster didn't have Taurasi. I don't even know if it had Lobo. I know it didn't have Elena Delle Donne. Isn't that an issue? I don't hear them coming out and bitching and whining and complain, right? Taurasi, the Lisa Leslies, the Cynthia Cooper. I mean, you're talking again, right? You think about those players as, the all-time greats. And then you talk about the Catchings and the Jacksons and the Cheryl Swoops, a 3-time MVP. But some of the, Maya Moore, fantastic player. I mean, she was one of the most dominant players I've ever seen, right? I mean, it was one of those great little peaks. Candace Parker, Wilson now, who's probably going to win the MVP, multiple winner, right? She's it. She's that girl too. But if social media was really at its heyday when a lot of these players were playing, I don't think they would feel the same way that they do. I don't. You didn't have the NIL. You didn't have a lot of branding. You didn't have marketability. You didn't really have the shoe deals, the contracts. So maybe they came at the wrong time. Timing is everything. And right now, when the league needed hope, right? 22 is giving them hope. When the league needed to go in a different direction, up a notch, 100 notches, she came in at the right time. But we got to go back to where we started. We got to be fair here. No disrespect to some of these other players that I mentioned, whether it's the Cunninghams, the Buckets, the Wilsons, the Billings, the Mitchell, they were not doing what she's doing. They were not going to single-handedly take this league to another level financially. And the haters will never admit that. They will never admit that. But like I said, there's no, Wilson effect, Angel Reese effect. There's not. There's a Caitlin Clark effect. And when the attendance goes up dramatically, it's not because of those players. It's not. Attendance jumped 48% her rookie season. 6,000 fans to almost 10,000 fans a game. The Fever social media, their impressions are staggering. They're staggering. 17,000 fans at home, plus you're getting numbers on the road. How do you hate that? How do you question that? How do you try to diminish that? Old heads just have to wash out. It's going to change. Listen, everyone's time comes to an end. Right? Everyone. Everyone's time. We're all on borrowed time with anything we do, right? She can get hurt, God forbid, walking down the steps. Any player can. Careers end short. Careers can be long. Players decide it ain't for me anymore. Maybe I want to go and ride off in the sunset, have a family, I'm burned out, do something else. You got to enjoy it for what it's worth, right? And I just, again, the wish is if you're going to report, if you're going to have an opinion, just be fair. Just be fair. It's okay to give credit to someone. It's okay to appreciate what they're doing and not have to hedge it. Well, I love you and I want to get married, but you're a pain in the ass and you really get on my nerves. Well, hold on a second. You love me and you want to get married, but I'm a pain in the ass and I get on your nerves. Well, which one is it? I mean, that's what I feel they do. I don't think it's going to change, but we wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's all. Michael, I know. Jennifer chiming in for the first time. Pete is bad faith actor. He constantly complains of Cece no matter what she does. He's a middle... Oh, on a Monday. Oh, it's supposed to be a Man Up Monday. And J5930 is firing off at Pete. We know Pete's a troll. He's harmless. What was... the movie it escapes me. Some people just hate to hate. That's all it is. They hate Marcus. I can't expose you anymore, Marcus, because I love when you chime in. Are you taking a shot at me, Shauna? Is that what you're doing? I hope not. I thought you were a fan of the show, Shauna. Middle-aged men having lots of opinions on 24-year-old who's elite and crushing it funny. Google it. Always interesting when they throw the Google out there. Pete getting slammed right now. Pete getting slammed again. Pete getting slammed again. There you go, Shauna. There we go. It's what we want to hear. That's it, man. That's it. I can't hate. I can't. I'm a fool. You know why? Because I watch the games. I'm a fool. I bitch, whine, and complain about it, and I'm opinionated, but I watch the games because I just want to see good basketball. I want us to talk about the game itself. I had all my notes ready for tomorrow for second half MVP, which I'm sure is going to run, get people pissed off. Steve, what a hard comment right there. Did I block Marcus at one time or another? I can't see his comments. T says I'm about to block him. Marcus, yeah, he's, I don't know what to tell you. Marcus and Pete. How about the other day, right? I don't know who it was. I think it was like Ivan something, right? He came on the chat. I don't like to call out people. I mean, the chat's right there, but you can see from the other day. And we were talking about the game itself, and I was calling in the question Humperdinck's leadership, Kathy Engelbert, and why the league is just a shit show. And I guess the guy Ivan, I forget his handle, wrote, I can't believe I subscribed to your channel. So I pulled it up and I started laughing. And then he followed up and he goes, no, I didn't. He goes, but I'm out. I can't do this. I can't believe you're criticizing the league and the leadership. So I said, okay. I said, look, you like the channel, you like the content. It's not a problem. If you want to troll, you can troll. I love when people subscribe to the channel because I do more than just the NBA, WNBA. We got a ton of betting content. We go heavy in the NFL. I got players coming on this NFL season. We break down the divisions. I got my insiders. We do the sports betting pod. We do some boxing stuff. So it's a little potpourri. It's a mixed bag. Major League Baseball trade deadline is around the corner. And I said, okay, Ivan, I said, I'm not your cup of tea, man. And then like 15 comments later, Ivan. So again, the trolls will troll. As long as they are respectful to you guys, they can come at me all you want. But it is funny how when people can't stand what someone's saying, but they lock in for almost 2 hours. We take that as a badge of courage. Angel Glazer. Ooh, never heard that one before. I mean, I can't even read that comment right there, even though it's pretty funny. How do I unblock someone? I blame Tarazi for that. She was the elder statesman of basketball. Should have been more welcome to CC, and that would have made a massive difference. Well, if you remember, Humperdinck said what the other night? She gave love to who? DT, not CC. Because she wasn't going to. She wasn't going to, right? Look, people are jealous, period. They don't want to see other people succeed in life. That's because they're insecure. That's all it is. If something happened along the way and you couldn't thrive in a certain area and someone is, some people get bitter. Some people are judgmental. Some people are just not satisfied. They're not comfortable in their own skin. And I look at what's going on right now in this league with these players and notably this player, and there are a lot of people that are just not comfortable in their own skin. They need to wake up and they need to have a reality check. It's not the end of the world. It ain't that bad. It's not. I told you. You got the guy. He's got the beautiful wife, the beautiful family, the car, the job, vacation home. You go on vacation. You got the 401. You're paying your bills. You're putting away some money. You're having a good time. You're going on trips and you're healthy. But yet every day he wakes up, he's got to complain about something until one day he loses his health. He loses his wife. He loses his family. That's how some of this media is. And for doing this as long as I have, it gets, after a while, it's disheartening. It's disheartening. It's like enough is enough. I wish, I do radio spots during the week across the country too sometimes. And we've been talking a lot. I've had to literally, last week, I've never done this before. I did want to hang up on the spot. I did not want to do the segment anymore because they came at a certain, they were young guys. They didn't know really what the hell they were talking about, but I didn't want to be disrespectful or rude. But I had to check them during the segment because they came at me in a certain way and not educated on what's going on in the league and Caitlin Clark, and they just wanted the clicks. Now, then I turn around and I go on with my guy, Mr. Wire, and that cat knows what he's doing. He knows exactly, Marty knows exactly what he's doing, man. Good content, intelligent, knowledgeable, comes off a certain way. I'm wasting 20 minutes on the phone doing a phone interview the other day on a station in the Midwest with these goofballs, and I had to check them on the air. The segment didn't last that long because I just said, guys, I don't know, what more do you want? I've said what I said, right? So there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, right? You can have class, you can have an opinion, you can be fiery, you can be passionate, but if you come a certain way, you got to get checked, man. And the problem is too many people don't get checked. Like on social media, how many times you sit there and someone's going back and forth with you? You really think they have the balls or the stones to say that in your face? I can tell you right now, if there's a mandate being delivered right now at ESPN, they should send it to Monica McNutt and some of these other goofballs because they just got rid of toxic talking heads. They're going to pull they're going to pull the trigger again. It's inevitable. More layoffs are coming. And you never condone and wish for someone to get fired, but sometimes you've lost that right to talk on the microphone. You've lost that right. I'm inviting you into my house on the TV, and I'm entrusting you to deliver news, entertainment, sports. I'm also entrusting you to be fair, to be objective, to be transparent. And they're not. They're not. That's a problem. The media can really help out this league and Caitlin Clark, but it's even these reporters, my God, listening to them go after Cunningham the other day. They tried to gotcha with this kid, and she was not having it. They tried their hardest to get her to trip up. Is it reporting? Or is it just clicks? Or is it's my agenda, I was wronged in life, and now I'm going to take it out on you? Which one is it? Which one is it? I couldn't play in the WNBA. I was okay in college. Now I'm going to piss on your dreams because I couldn't achieve anything. What is it? Instead of just, man, this is great for the sport. This empowers women. You know, we're taking them serious, man. Look how strong they are. Look at the talent. Look at the skill set on the floor. Look at the attendance. Everyone's having fun. Nope. We can't allow it. We can't have it. Hence, ESPN confirmed what I've been saying. You keep talking about her, she's the face of the league. You keep hating on her, she's the face of the league. You keep putting her under a microscope, she's the face of the league. She can score 35 and 10, 45 and 10. You criticize her, face of the league. The rat ship justified everything I said. Everything I said. JD chimes on XQ. Your comments are hilarious. No, I love my commenters, man. I love them. I love them. You guys are fantastic. I mean, Jennifer, Sean, you guys are feisty tonight, boy. My goodness, I got a lot of comments. I feel Pete is getting hammered right now, is he not? I feel like a lot of these comments now are directed at Pete. Took the shine off me. Pete loves Clark, he says. Hates her fans. CC mentally strong. None of her teammates, opponents would be able to deal with this. I tend to agree with you. She's definitely a strong kid. Here we go. Here it is. Here's the hate that we talk about on the air. Da 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 da. Let me see. McNutt is deeply broken. Yes. I think she is too. Oh, Reese, what are we doing, man? Reebok, I don't know what that means. Not good enough. Jealous. Yeah, that's true. LeBron James is hated more. Okay. There's literally footage of her donating packs and school supplies. Get them, Jennifer. Go. Do it. I don't condone comment on commenter crime. I don't do it. Pete, what are you doing? Come on, man. See, that's where I got to leave Jennifer alone. Pete, you're walking the fine line right now. Don't cross it. Don't cross it. We don't joke with that kind of stuff. Come on. Play nice, everyone. If you don't have haters, you're not doing your job to be great. Haters, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I told you, Yvonne, he, commented in like 36 times after. McNutt is agile. Yeah, 100%. 100% she is. Sure. Oh, man, I'm just going through these comments right now. All right. I'm going to let you guys argue with each other. By the way, Pete, you need to go to church. Go get saved. Do something, will you? Go find God, please. All right, you guys are too much. So keep the comments coming. It'll be up on demand. You guys can comment there as well. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll fire off. I have a lot more NFL to get into. We just did a pod on LeBron James and the Sixers, if you are interested in that. But tomorrow, I am going to get into second half of the season. We'll go through the MVP odds. So your homework assignment, if you choose to have one and not play hooky tomorrow on a Tuesday, we'll break down the MVP conversation. We'll be able to kind of debate it, state our case. Who's the MVP, who's not the MVP. Have a little fun with that. Look ahead second half of the season. I want to get into a little more For the NFL fans, as I mentioned, we drop all our division breakdowns. Training camp is among us. So later on the week, we're going to get into that. And obviously, we'll start to look in some of the lines, the win totals, the betting favorites, and the over-unders. I might, if you guys are interested, I might start giving you some plays on the WNBA. Nothing too fancy. Just standard, some lines. I mean, we'll look at the money lines. We'll look at some trends, maybe some player props, just for entertainment purposes. So you guys can connect with me on X, at RichQonQ, as well as Instagram, at RichQonQ, TikTok, RichQ on the mic. If you like the content, you like the show, you like the engagement, the best you can do is subscribe to the channel. A lot of you guys who are trolling tonight, the Q crew is on you. I mean, let me say, my commenters, the listeners, you guys are like dogs on a bone. Not the DOG. Don't come at me, T or Shauna. Don't come at me. Don't do it. The DAWG. I mean, you guys are fierce. I love it. You guys bring a lot to the table. You engage. You interact. You guys have strong opinions. That's why we do what we do, the back and forth. I have like 700 comments, so I couldn't get to all of them tonight. But I always appreciate you guys chiming in. By the way, our Monday, we call it a Man Up Monday. So going forward, if you guys make wild proclamations at the end of the week, you have to man up on a Monday. We add a caveat to it. We also call it a Lunes Mentiroso Locutor de Radio Man Up Monday edition of On Q. All right, don't forget, if you like coffee on me, check out the show notes. Fresh roasted coffee, 20% off your first purchase. And my goodness, you guys are just ferocious. Ferocious. That's a good one, Mike. I needed a chuckle before I get out of here. Poor Pete getting hammered tonight. Pete is getting hammered. DB, where you been? DB, a lot of us need to go to church. We got to get saved, brother. We have to get saved. That's all I'm saying. Let me get in a couple more comments. They want her to quit so they can say she was never any good. Not happening. I don't think she will. She'll go to another league or create her own league or go overseas. She's not going to quit, though. I hope it doesn't happen. I don't. I really don't. Let me see. Trust me, I don't always agree with Pete, but I always respect his opinion, just like I have mine and everyone else has one and I respect. That's all. Maria, correct. Pete was a little feisty today, man. Little feisty. Marcus, I don't remember what I said. That story was hidden. Thank you for the great point. I probably said it 25 minutes ago because I still have like 600 comments to flush through. But if you said I made a good point and opinion, I greatly appreciate it. Yes. Afraid of backlash. Are you talking? Oh, I see. Miss Soul saw that. You talking about Eric Bieniemy's son? Oh, I mentioned that today. I talked about that today. Oh my goodness, is that not horrible? So if you guys don't know, Eric Bieniemy, who's the offensive coordinator with the Kansas City Chiefs, apparently his son shot his mother, shot the wife. Eric Bieniemy's wife. Allegedly shot by the couple's home. That is just, I mean, wow. In stable condition. That's horrible, man. That is really 57 years old, stable condition. The son, Elijah Zion Bieniemy, 27, arrested, charged with. I mentioned this earlier on Q in the afternoon. Lloyd Vance joined me, my NFL insider. We talked a little bit about this. Really just, it's just horrible. It's really, really horrible. And, Kansas City, if you think about the stuff that Andy Reid's had to endure, and if you go back, do you guys remember Javon Belcher? Remember Javon Belcher back in 2012? Shot himself in the parking lot, murder-suicide. He killed his girlfriend, Cassandra Perkins. He went to the Chiefs training facility and then killed himself. I mean, they've been down. Andy Reid's had a lot of, unfortunate stuff happened in his family as well with his sons, and obviously one of his sons ODing. I mean, he's, that team, that franchise, some on the coaching staff fighting a lot of demons, man. But that is just, yeah, That's horrible. And then I mentioned, too, the Kyle Shanahan story. He gets in an accident July 12th. July 12th. And now they're just reporting it. 40 stitches to the face, ribs, broken nose, hurt his hand, and now the NFL is just reporting it. Now we're learning about it. But no, definitely, thoughts and prayers to the Bieniemy family. Eric Bieniemy, yeah. You know, interesting, Bieniemy, so James Hasty played in the NFL for about 10 years. Really smart guy, defensive back, played with Kansas City, the Jets, drafted by the Jets, played with Kansas City, had a cup of coffee with the Raiders. He always comes on the pod. I'm going to have him on during the NFL. And we always talked about Eric Bieniemy and the coaching hiring and why Eric Bieniemy never got a job. And if it was, you know, the smartest thing for him to just stay in Kansas City. And then we saw he wanted to go to Washington and didn't work out with Rivera. And James always said, you know, he just never interviewed well. Right? I mean, it's not for lack of knowledge, but it's crazy to think if, you know, you present yourself in a certain way during these interviews, especially the NFL hiring process, you know, you would have a better shot at getting a job. It's an interesting conversation for another day because then it speaks to the Rooney Rule, which I have my own thoughts on that I've talked about years. But I'll get James on during the NFL season. But that's not here nor there. You know, definitely thoughts and prayers to Eric Bieniemy and his wife. And I mean, I don't know what went through that kid's mind, to be quite honest with you. You just never know what somebody's thinking, right? You never know. You really don't. So really a tough situation. Man, you guys are, I told you guys control me. You guys control. Don't troll each other. Oh man, you guys are. I'd tell you what. Sometimes you guys are setting it up, man. You guys are setting it up. I think people react to hate towards Caitlyn, claim idolizing most fans in the game are not that invested. I think she's just a polarizing figure, to be quite honest with you. I do. And I also think that she's a lightning rod. And I think people look at the way she looks. She doesn't fit the criteria. And they pass judgment. That's all. I mean, I'm not hating on a 20-something-year-old. I love her game. I love a lot of these players. I do. I think they're talented. I really do. But I just don't like how some of them are treated, and I certainly don't like how the media covers the league. It's piss poor. It's piss poor. Seriously. I just don't like it. It's bad. It's not reporting. It isn't. All right. We're going to start wrapping it up. And yeah, you know, I will say tomorrow we'll get into the lighter portion of the show. We'll talk MVP tomorrow. You know, we had a lot going on for a Monday night, almost 2.5 hours. Plus, I did an hour and a half earlier. Plus, I did my Destin FM show down in Florida. So we will get into that tomorrow. But you guys are fantastic. You guys are great. You hung with me for 2.5 hours. You guys are the best. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Share it. If you subscribe, it's the best way to help out. Tomorrow, back at it. Tuesday edition of On Cue. Keep the comments rolling. And yeah, I don't ever advocate for a commentator on commentator crime. Some of you, I can say, are poking the bear. And I will say that the legion of Q crew that chime in religiously, they got my back. I got their back. That's all I can say. I got their back. So some of you guys might be out on an island all by yourself. I don't know what to tell you. Always appreciate you guys chiming in. Really, really fantastic job. Subscribe to the channel. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll talk a little MVP, midway point in the season. We will get your thoughts on that. I also, I want to switch gears too. We'll keep the conversation going with basketball, but I want to get into a little of the NBA tomorrow as well and get your thoughts on LeBron and his legacy now that he signs with the Philadelphia 76ers. So we'll go a little NBA, a little WNBA, and we'll have fun with it. All right, so with that being said, I will allow you guys to continue to troll each other. You guys are fantastic. I greatly appreciate you hanging with me. Get social with me. You can get me on TikTok, Rich Q, on the mic, at RichQ on the YouTube channel. You guys can comment directly. My email's up there if you guys ever want to email me, comment on anything. If you have any questions, critiques, suggestions, topics you want to discuss going forward, let me know. Can't do it without you. Have a wonderful Man Up Monday. And as always, I'm Rich Quinones. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Tuesday. Play nice, be safe, be sound, and I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of On Cue. As always, be safe, be sound. Hasta luego, buen día.